March 13th, 2020. I confess that I selfishly will be glad when this is over because my favorite Trader Joe's is in a basement that frequently is crowded. Basement. Crowd. Not rocket science. I've decided not to go there until it's clear what the rate of infection is in the Bay Area. I'm also staying off the subway. No circulation. March 14th, 2020. Dear underinformed neighbors, my empathy has worn thin, so keep to yourself your superstitious ignorance about the immune system, your sexist attempt to intimidate me out of buying disinfectant almost got you whacked upside your head, by the way. Your techie, MAGA, bachelor enthusiasm about hoarding groceries when you probably don't even have an earthquake kit. Yes, this is still California. Your inappropriately loud sermon that the Lord is going to protect you from the devil, aka coronavirus, as soon as you saw my gloves, you sanctimonious bitch. Sincerely, Sylvia. March 15th, 2020. My husband has thought that I am too fanatical with my alcohol spray bottle. So today, I asked him if he knew about the dancing elephant of hepatitis A, namely poop. He did not, but he agreed it's not rocket science how a hepatitis A epidemic could start among notoriously not very sanitary school children. I told him that if I thought it was necessary, I would scrub the whole apartment every day, like my mother did our bathrooms during the hepatitis A epidemic in Kansas City, Kansas in the 1960s. That cleared out half my Catholic school for weeks. Your friends are not OCD, and neither am I. Sanitizing doorknobs, handrails, packages that come from outside, mail, that's the bare minimum. And wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. April 1st, 2020. I'm not the most fragile creature on the planet, but I do every morning between 3:30 and 5 a.m. have an asthma attack. Usually not horrible, but often enough my lungs feel closed up and I can't get a full breath for a while, which is scary, but at least short-lived. That is the worst of my asthma, but it's freaking me out every day. Today it was worse than usual, and I was sure this was the day I should go to the ER to get tested. I didn't even know how worried about me Mike is until last week after his video therapy session. He came in and told me that considering my age and asthma, his therapist said I shouldn't be going to the store. I hate not having my freedom and not getting enough exercise to control my sciatica, but I had no idea how worried he was. He was having nightmares every night. I suppose it makes it worse that he just lost a close friend who was around my age. Anyway, I guess I was shocked how worried he was and touched, really. April 5th, 2020. To Lauren Harris, nurse practitioner. Subject: testing for antibodies after shelter in place is lifted. Dear Lauren, I hope you are well. This message is not an emergency. I don't need an appointment right away, but I would like to get on a waiting list if the test is available for antibodies after it's safer for people to leave home. Thank you for being on the front line. I hope people you see express their appreciation. Dear Sylvia, I am glad that you are feeling okay. Unfortunately, the antibody test for COVID-19 is still being developed. We do not have a wait list for it. Take care, L.N.N.E.F.F. April 6th, 2020. I was so weak that I almost fell down when I got out of the bathtub. I spent the next 2 days in bed, mostly sleeping. April 8th, 2020. There is something wrong with people, i.e. Republicans, who think in the COVID-19 pandemic that collateral damage is okay. April 10th, 2020. I received my COVID-19 test results. Quote, SARS-CoV-2 NAA, not detected. Negative results do not exclude the possibility of infection. Interpretation of all results must include clinical evaluation of the patient and other diagnostic procedures. And I assume clinical evaluation refers to the fact that I could barely even sit up while I was at the doctor. And I coughed the whole time, and they couldn't get me out of there fast enough. So when the nurse called to give me my test results, she spent 20 minutes with instructions on how to self-isolate from my husband, if possible, which, of course, in a one-bedroom apartment, a small one-bedroom apartment, that's not possible. And my husband and I believed it was already too late because he started coughing about 7 days after I did. So by April 13th, he wasn't feeling well enough to go grocery shopping, and I had to go. And I was so covered up that I actually was afraid that somebody might harass me or beat me up because I was covered up like a Muslim woman. April 20th, 2020, to Lauren Harris, nurse practitioner. Subject, low-grade fever for 5 days. Hello, Lauren. I hope you are well. I thought I was getting over my illness last week, but since Friday, I have had a low-grade fever up to 100.2 at the highest, body aches, and fatigue. My cough and shortness of breath are not worse, but the fever keeps coming back. Thank you. Hi, Sylvia. I'm helping with calls and messages today. I just tried calling you to chat more about your symptoms, but got your voicemail. We recommend Tylenol. You can take 500 milligrams every 6 hours or 1,000 milligrams every 8 hours as needed. There is certainly a possibility that you do in fact have COVID but had a false negative test result. Please continue to self-isolate and let us know if respiratory symptoms worsen. You should head to the ER if you have difficulty breathing or feel very lethargic. Please reply with any questions. Dr. Scott. April 21st, 2020. I, who until 5 days ago could count on one hand all the fevers that I've had since 1968, am now on my 5th day of COVID-19 fever. May 1st, 2020. This is an argument for mask wearing. On the morning of March 25th, 2020, I was walking home from the Japantown Safeway's senior shopping hours. I had taken off my mask after I left the store when I passed this young man in his early 30s. He also was not wearing a mask. He was trying to social distance, but he coughed, sneezed, and wheezed for the whole half block before we passed. Five days later, I started coughing in my sleep. About 7 days later, I started coughing all day long. And about 9 days later was when I almost fell down when I got out of the bathtub because I was so weak. For about a day and a half, I thought I was getting better, and that's when the fever started. So that was about 35 days that I was sick. I know I could have caught my illness anywhere, but how obvious is it when the virus can travel 14 feet from the mouth of a person who's not wearing a mask? And this was a whole half block. Viruses, take your pick.